We begin with politics, where Governors Forum of the All Progressives Congress has unanimously welcomed the resignation of the national chairman of the party, Abdullahi Ganduje. Now, the governors adopted the resolution during their two-day strategic regional meeting in Benin City on Saturday, hosted by the governor of Edo State, Senator Monday Okpeolo. A statement issued by the Chief Press Secretary to Governor Monday Okpeolo of Edo State, Fred Itua, on Saturday said the PGF reaffirmed its strong belief in a united, just and prosperous Nigeria, committing to work collaboratively to deliver bold reforms, strengthen institutional trust, and accelerate socio-economic development across all geopolitical zones.
PGF acknowledged the resignation of the national chairman of our great party, His Excellency Dr. Abdullahi Omar Ganduje, in tandem with the party's continued evolution. The PGF reaffirmed its unshakable belief in a united, just, and prosperous Nigeria. It's committed to working collaboratively to deliver bold reforms, strengthen institutional trust, and accelerate socio-economic development across all geopolitical zones. The governors resolved to remain faithful stewards of the APC's values, leveraging state-level innovation, intergovernmental collaboration to drive Nigeria's transformation from bottom up. The forum encouraged all Nigerians, home and abroad, to rally behind President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR and the APC as the nation moves towards a more secure, inclusive, and forward-looking future.
In the meantime, Chairman of the People's Democratic Party Reconciliation Committee and former Senate President Dr. Bukola Saraki has warned that more defections from the party may still occur even as efforts continue to reposition the party ahead of the 2027 general elections. Saraki made this known during a televised interview in Abuja. He, however, described the timing of the crisis as an advantage, arguing that it gives the PDP time to recover and rebuild before election cycle begins in full swing. Despite the turbulence at the national level, Saraki said the PDP remains strong at the grassroots and across state structures. Now, to discuss this, we're joined by political strategist Dr. Sam Amadi. Thank you so much, Dr. Amadi, for joining us at this time. All right, now, Dr. Amadi, if you can hear me, can you speak to us on the underlying structural weaknesses within the PDP, that could be triggering the wave of defections, and what it implies for the party's organizational coherence ahead of the 2027 elections?
Well, I think Bukola Saraki's point is that if nothing is done, there are going to be some more major, defections, and that looks like likely to happen, because if you look at the issue around the leadership and the consequence it can have for validity of nominations, we saw, for example, in what happened in Zamfara and what happened in some other states in the last electoral cycle, that where there is confusion and uncertainty around leadership, oftentimes, courts, the risk that courts might invalidate all the nominations, and that was part of what governor of Pastor Eno, the governor of Akwa Ibom, hinted. So clearly, it looks like the evil days are not yet over with PDP. And again, the conflicts around ego. There are too many captains, and then, like they say, too many chiefs, and no locals here. Everyone's a chief. So it's becoming almost impossible to find a way to solve this problem before, in a couple of months, before perhaps we get to the more difficult time. So what can be done is basically a sense in which maybe a lot of the leaders can come together and have some win-win. You see, the problem is, take for example the secretary, Samuel Anyanwu. Evidently, before December, the tenure runs out. So if it's possible for them to say, you know what, we can keep calm and allow till we have a proper convention. Since the Supreme Court has given this call, it's not clear. and indeterminacy and uncertainty is dangerous. So if they allow that period to play out and then able to have some kind of reconvention and get, a proper ESCO in place, NEC in place, then they could solve this problem before nomination starts. I mean, this is really dangerous. And what has made it more dangerous is the politics of the presidency, Tinubu's election, where a chunk of PDP are committed to having Tinubu become, work for Tinubu at the presidency. So that, politics makes it difficult to achieve some consensus, because either way, who becomes secretary, who becomes chairman, will play key role in where the party would pull along strongly in support of Tinubu, or the party will pull along to present an alternative candidate. So I think that the politics is becoming more complex every day for them to manage.
All right, but do you think that his statement reflects, the sentiment among party elites? Do you think that it signals a deeper crisis within the PDP leadership?
I think it does. I've spoken to some of the leaders, and even to today, I was at the birthday party of the National Secretary, and I talked to some of the leaders, and their view is that, look, yes, in fact, the leaders of the party admitted that they are expecting that the party might have more significant, defections in this context. Because, look, I think there's a real, the trust is no longer there. The politics is maximalist. Everybody wants the right outcome. And it looks like somehow they are a little bit, some of those who are with Wike and those who are supporting this Siminalayi group feel comfortable that, look, after the presidency, maybe in 2028, we can pick the pieces. There's a sense of fatalism that, look, well, we might not be strong. They don't even want the party to be strong for 2027 because they clearly, a chunk of that party has made up its mind to work with President Tinubu under a particular deal. And so their idea would be, we're going to kind of model through, and at post 27, we can pick up pieces. So there's fatalism, and I think this represents the view of significant, not all. Of course, there are those who still think that we can bump off Anyanwu's team, Wike, and take over this party and make it competitive in 27. But they're becoming more and more in the minority as things get worse.
Now, looking at the rate of defections, right, what role does Nigeria's weak political ideologies and fluid party systems play, especially in perpetuating cycles of these defections and realignment?
I think, honestly, it's a long time Nigerians threw away ideology and values in party differentiation and organization. And so we can look at the parties that basically known that has a strong, not even ideology in the classical sense of Marxism, welfarism, capitalism, but even the notion of a consistent idea about governance. There's no differentiation more for the party. So, but what has created this crisis now is a sense in which there are also no moderating, directing centers. Leaders who tower above all, and leaders who are not so engrossed in partisan, in the contest of election. So what PDP is plagued with is that since Jonathan lost election and walked away, literally, they don't have the leaders who are strong, politically viable, but not contested. Those leaders could have shepherded people together. So what we are seeing now in this current crisis is not just the loss of ideology that has happened long. It is also the fact that there are no more dynamism, no more discipline and coordination.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Amadi, for your time and for speaking on this.
Thank you so much.
Now, barely 2 days after a fresh round of peace talks at the presidential villa in Abuja, suspended Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, and the suspended Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Martins Ameule, again appeared in public together. The fresh appearance was this time at a funeral service in Rumupricum, Wike's hometown in Obiakpo local government area. Now, the three key political figures have been locked in a political crisis for nearly 2 years. The appearance follows Thursday's peace meeting brokered by President Bola Tinubu, which sought to end the lingering crisis between the governor and his former political allies. In the meantime, the governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, has declared that there is no sacrifice too big for the peace, stability and progress of the state. Addressing his supporters in Port Harcourt on Saturday, Governor Fubara reassured them that every step he has taken, including the recent reconciliation with his predecessor and Federal Capital Territory Minister Nyesom Wike, was done with their collective interest in mind. The governor acknowledged the anxiety and disappointment felt by many of his loyalists following the peace deal, but insisted that difficult times calls for difficult decisions and concessions. Now, to discuss this development, we are joined by founder Albino Foundation, Jake Ekpele. He joins us from Houston, Texas. Thank you so much for joining us at this time, Jake.
Thank you. My organization has transitioned from the Albino Foundation to TAF Africa. TAF Africa, we are Disability Inclusion Champions.
All right, noted, sir. Now, let's begin with, it is speculated that the peace deal is at the cost of Fubara giving up significant powers in exchange for political survival. Are those your thoughts? Do you share the same thoughts?
Well, people make personal decisions based on their either personal principles or personal interests. I wouldn't be speaking for Fubara. I have no idea the concessions that he has made. But I think at this time I would want to speak for the people of Rivers State and to say that Governor Fubara, who is my kinsman, I must say, in the interest of conflict of interest, I would say that, of course, it's his right to make whatever concession he makes, but he has to understand that it is the people that he represents. He is carrying the mandate of Rivers people, and whatever concession he makes must not be totally and absolutely based on his personal interest, but the interest of the people that voted him and gave him the mandate. So whatever decision, whatever concession, whatever agreement that he has made, it must be in the overall interest of the people of Rivers State, period. Anything less than that can be termed as his own personal decision, personal agreement, which will not augur well for the political interest of the overall citizenry of Rivers State. I am very concerned. I haven't spoken to him for a while. Hopefully, if I get a chance, I will want to know the details of the agreement. But if I go by what I'm hearing, which is very troubling, the fact that it's assumed, I want to say it's a presumption, that he has agreed to not to contest the election in 2027. That will be an aberration on his part and political suicide, because it's not Wike and his group, nor Fubara and his group that determine who rules them or who will lead them. It is the people. And so if that's the agreement that he has decided to go by, it would just be on the terms of his own personal interest. And I don't think that represents the views of millions of people that supports him and that have been there with him and for him, by him, throughout this very, very struggling period that we have experienced. I would say to my brother, who I have a lot of respect for, I would say to him, please make sure that it is important that you carry the people that have supported you, the people that have been supporting you along in whatever decisions you make. I think for me, Jake Ekpele, if he gets to a point where I can't take the decision, the honorable thing to do will be to resign.
All right, Jake. Now, since we're not sure if this current deal confirms, these rumors, but if, since we're speaking allegedly now, if, you know, it does confirm what you have actually said, that he wouldn't have to run for a second term. What are the implications for the elections in Rivers State come 2027 if he doesn't have to run, and if at all he did accept that deal?
You know, that's a very intelligent question. Very intelligent question. All my 20 years of being in development space, I have worked for the electoral space. I know and I feel the pulse of the electorate. I know how the electorate reacts. If we think that the 2023 election created distrust, created lack of confidence in the electoral system and the democratic system of Nigeria, this will be a child's play. I guarantee you, if this happens, it would just be the bunch of people that follows either the FCT minister and a handful of them that would participate in the election. The people will definitely, you're talking about voter apathy, you will see it in a very large scale. It will be very, very unfortunate if that happens, because I don't think that's what the people want.
All right, well, thank you so much, Jake, for your time and for speaking on this.
I want to thank you for always speaking for the people of Rivers State, and I will continue to do that. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
I appreciate you.
Well, with that, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, the news continues. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Now, the Governors Forum of the All Progressives Congress has unanimously welcomed the resignation of the national chairman of the party, Abdullahi Ganduje. Now, we reiterate that the governors adopted the resolution during their two-day strategic regional meeting in Benin City on Saturday, which was hosted by the governor of Edo State, Senator Monday Okpeolo. Now, to speak more on the APC governors meeting in Edo State, we have joining us National Publicity Secretary, New Nigeria People's Party, that's the NNPP, Ladipo Johnson. Thank you so much, Ladipo, for joining us on the news.
Thanks for having me. Good evening.
Now, is the NNPP leadership, aware of any back-channel negotiations between Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso and the APC leadership prior to Ganduje's negotiations? Because it's the rumors that has actually been flying around.
I think that, well, the answer is no, but the rumors were so widely spread and everything that we even began to believe that it was true. But the bottom line is that officially we haven't heard anything. We do not know of any agreements as have been said by people. And we're just waiting and watching to see what will happen. We're not involved at that level with anything to do with moving to the APC or otherwise.
But when you say you're waiting and watching, a lot of people will think that you're in the know, but you're just waiting for the right time to let the cat out of the bag. So what is the official position of the NNPP regarding the speculation about Kwankwaso defecting to the APC?
Well, that's exactly the position that I mentioned. We honestly, we do not look in a party like the NNPP approaching 2027. You have people who say, look, let's wait, let's continue to grow our party. People might join us, you understand. You have some who say, oh, let's go to the coalition that is on ground that we've heard about, and some who say, oh, let's go to the APC. So it's like three options there. But the national level of the party, we haven't had, people have been talking individually, but we haven't had anything official with any particular group, including the APC. Now, whether or not they have approached Senator Rabi Kwankwaso as a person, I don't know, because he hasn't said. I've asked several times, and he keeps saying that, no, let's just keep doing what we're doing and see where it will all go.
But is it plausible or, you know, a political misdirection?
No, anything is possible. It's a possibility. It is. I won't say it isn't. It is a possibility that he would consider it, or he would consider some other coalition. We have said time without number that we're open to talks about moving the country forward, wherever, whomsoever or whichever platform or party wants to do some work with us together. We're open to doing that. So in that case, with that in mind, it is a possibility. I won't come here and say it isn't a possibility, but I don't know about it. We do not know about it at the National Working Committee level.
Now, if Kwankwaso were to leave the NNPP, you know, how does the party intend to preserve structure, momentum, grassroots support, especially in Kano State?
Well, it depends on how he leaves, you understand, and the way he leaves, you get it. If he says that, well, knowing him, he would get in touch with the party before he makes any move. He will. He has to. You're laughing, it's the truth. He, you know, you don't take decisions like that alone, knowing fully well that some of your members might not be too keen to join up with the APC. You have to talk to them, you have to try to carry them along and everything. So we don't know what will happen yet if that happens. You know. All I'm certain of at the moment is that we're there, we're moving, and our congresses and convention will be next year. You know, so we're working towards that.
Well, it's only a matter of time. We'll wait to see, you know, what happens next.
Definitely.
But with that, thank you so much for joining us, Ladipo, and for speaking to us on this.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, away from that to security matters, a daring petroleum tanker hijacking syndicate has been dismantled with 7 suspects arrested by the Lagos State Police in Ejibo early Saturday morning, June 28th. Our News Central's Igbalani Omoni has the details.
In the early hours of Saturday, the Lagos State Police Command apprehended 7 individuals suspected of hijacking a petroleum tanker. The breakthrough came soon after the truck driver reported the crime at the Surulere police station.
As you collect the way before the driver have to come down to go and claim the way be from them. The next thing where I go here, because we are inside motor, will be 2 motor boy. And the second motor boy, me I don't did that motor, 30. But that motor boy, na new boy. Na first trip where go follow us be that. The Navy can say, okay, all 2 people where they inside motor, may they come down. The next thing, the car slab give us, drag us inside the car. Small car like this, they drag us inside.
After they hijacked the vehicle, they brought it here, dropped the contents here, then took the tanker to Orele, dropped it off. Then in the early hours of this morning, they came with their own tanker to lift the PMS that they earlier dropped here. So we caught them right in the act. We've arrested 7 suspects. Investigation is progressing.
The stolen product, approximately 45,000 litres, was traced to the tank on site. Within 12 hours of the complaint, the suspects were cornered at the abandoned station in possession of pumping machinery and firearms, suggesting organized operations.
Our preliminary investigation so far shows that this is a filling station that is not in use. So we are continuing with our investigation. Do not forget that this happened just this morning. As investigation progresses, we'll update Lagosians accordingly. So we also want to establish if the owner of the filling station is in on this, if he actually gave it out for such criminal activities. So when we discover that, we will let you know. For now, it appears to be an abandoned station that is being used in the middle of the night before daybreak by criminal elements.
So what happened to the content you have discovered?
Oh, for now, it's an exhibit to aid our investigation, and once investigation is concluded, the rightful owner, of course, would take back his property.
Meanwhile, investigations continue into how the syndicate sourced the underground tank and the full chain of conspirators.
The Commissioner of Police, Lagos State Command, CP Olorundare Jimoh, upon hearing of this case, gave direct instructions that all of the other suspects should be rounded up, and the investigation should be swiftly concluded.
The arrest of the suspect and recovery of the stolen product are expected to bring relief to residents and businesses in the area. In Lagos, 4 News Central, Igbalani Omani.
Our Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has inaugurated Students Against Violent Extremism during the multi-sector conference in Maiduguri, designed to engage young scholars in the fight against extremist ideologies circulating in the Northeast. Speaking to multi-stakeholders from students, the military, civil society organizations, and community leaders, General Musa emphasized that youth-led initiatives are essential in reshaping community narratives as well as ensuring peace. News Central's Umari Kirawa completes the report.
The echoes of the conflict in Nigeria's northeast is gradually fading away, with communities being resettled to pick up the pieces of their lives. A newly formed group, Student Against Violent Extremism, an initiative that seeks to persuade individuals against terrorism and radicalization, here being inaugurated by Nigeria's Chief of Defense.
The non-kinetic effort does a lot, and youths play a major role in that non-kinetic effort, and that's why we have this event today, to be able to bring out the youth. And you can see the groups that have been formed. They will go around because they are also meeting together with their fellow youths and be able to talk to them on the issue of all of them not agreeing anybody to radicalize them, for them to support the security forces, for them to do things right so that Nigeria can be better.
The only thing I want the Nigerian society to know is that terrorism is like cancer. It regenerates. So we must get to the roots and cut it off before it will end.
This initiative and also brought the civil societies and also the youth, Borno Youth Parliaments on board, so that we can work hand in hand together to see that at least we have play critical roles also, to not to allow just the federal and the state governments to just do it alone.
Focused on building resilience against violent extremism through youth engagement, stakeholders called on Nigerian youth to embrace peace building through education.
As for us from the Youth Assembly of Nigeria, we are engaging the community leaders and traditional leaders in the community to see that we sensitize the young people in peace bringing in our communities.
The youths are leaders of the tomorrow. They are the ones to shape the community in the near future. So imbibing this kind of character in them now, it will going to actually help in having a robust and one community in the society.
I must say that this is a very good initiative, and from our side, we will take this up, we'll take it very serious, and we will wish that the Chief of Defense Staff, alongside with some of the security advisors from Northeast region, will intensify and domesticate this across all the region.
The persuasive means of encouraging the surrender of terrorists has led to over 300,000 voluntarily surrendering. What remains now is for the government to ensure extremism of any form is minimized to its lowest ebb. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umar Kirawa.
Away from that, the Take It Back movement in Lagos has demanded justice for thousands of residents displaced by what they described as illegal demolitions in Oworonshoki. The group held a press conference at the Odunfa Okeri site to highlight the scale of destruction and the suffering experienced by affected families. Residents have accused government officials of carrying out the demolitions with little notice, leaving many homeless and struggling to salvage belongings. The movement is calling for accountability and urgent intervention to address the plight of those rendered destitute by the exercise.
When they started this demolition, what they said was that within 6 months, they will get tired. When they found out that within 1 year, we are still demanding justice, they deployed other tactics by also using non-state actors to threaten us.
Now the little areas and the pension money, I take bought the land. Then I build up that place, feeding the water while the government is working on the air. I cook a land. Right now, when they don't see that house don't come up small, they come to demolish.
My heart got broken as a result of, the unspeakable thing that the Lagos State government have succeeded in doing here. And I must state that very clearly that these demolitions that have been carried out here, are not just unconstitutional, but they are inhumane, they are unlawful, and it's just, in my opinion, a brazen assault on Nigerian people and, the people of Oworoshoki here. And I have to state categorically that no laws in Nigeria empowers the government to take immovable property of the people without compensation.
And let's also tell you that the World Customs Organization Council has elected Nigeria's customs boss Bashir Adewale Adeniyi as the chairperson of the WCO Council, the highest decision-making body in global customs administration. This election was done at the concluding session of the 145th, 146th WCO Council meetings held at the WCO headquarters in Brussels. CGC Adeniyi succeeds Edward Kiswetter, Commissioner of the South African Revenue Service, and becomes the first Nigerian to occupy the office since the WCO's establishment. Reacting to the appointment, Adeniyi expressed profound appreciation to the council members for the confidence reposed in his leadership, describing the moment as both humbling and historic for Nigeria and the African customs community at large. Policy experts in Nigeria have called on the federal government to utilize social cohesion data in the formulation and implementation of national policies and programs. They say that the data can be used to tackle critical developmental challenges and promote national progress across the country. This was during a capacity building workshop organized by the Africa Polling Institute, focusing on the application of social cohesion data in strengthening national policies and improving effective media reportage.
Never been this bad that we are thinking that we are not together. We struggle with accepting the fact that a Fulani man and Hausa man and a man from the southern Ijaw nation can all cohabit together. We still cannot understand that the Nigerian can earn a position by virtue of his competence or her competence. So we want, as social scientists, to begin to dig into the reasons behind some of these assertions and talk to Nigerians.
We need to have data to be able to make data-driven policy decision-making. Gone are the days where data should be kept on the shelf or where decisions should be made by intuition. Decisions should be driven based on data, and that is what this is about. And so we are putting out this data so that the policymakers, the government, various stakeholders can make use of this data for their policy planning, for their policy designs, and for their programming. That is why this data is useful.
Coming up, South Africa Coalition Party threatens to leave government of national unity. We'll tell you more after the break. Join us again. away from Nigeria, South Africa's Democratic Alliance Party has withdrawn from a national dialogue after President Cyril Ramaphosa fired one of its deputy ministers. The announcement was a fresh blow to the government of national unity days before it marks its first anniversary. Now, the national dialogue is a process launched by Ramaphosa to reunite the country after last year's election, which saw his African National Congress lose its parliamentary majority for the first time in 3 decades, forcing it to team up with the DA to form a government. The initiative has been criticized by the DA and others, with DA leader John Steenhuisen describing it as nothing more than a waste of time and money. He also said corruption was plaguing the government and blamed Ramaphosa for failing to take action.
Alliance's Federal Executive, which met at 1 p.m. today, has resolved to withdraw from the national dialogue with immediate effect. In the absence of a president who's prepared to take action against VBS looters and state capture accused sitting around the cabinet table, it is clear that the dialogue will be reduced to nothing more than a waste of time and money to distract from ANC failures.
Well, I like to live by the 3 strikes and you are out maxim. So this is the second big strike. And believe me, we discussed at length a motion of no confidence in the president. And there was a significant debate about it. And that is not off the table. If the president shows that he's indistinguishable from the corrupt RET faction in his party, then, well, there's no point in being in a coalition with him at all, because he is exactly the same as the others. So we're saying to him, don't test us, because we're prepared to use the nuclear option.
In other news from around the world, the U.S. Senate has rejected a Democratic-led bid to block President Donald Trump from using further military force against Iran. The Senate vote was 53-47 against a war powers resolution that would have required congressional approval for more hostilities against Iran. The vote was along party lines, except Pennsylvanian Democrat John Fetterman, who voted no with Republicans, and Kentucky Republican Rand Paul, who voted yes with Democrats. Earlier on Friday, Trump sharply criticized Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, dropped plans to lift sanctions on Iran, and said he would consider bombing Iran again if Tehran is enriching uranium to worrisome levels. Thousands of anti-government protesters rallied in Bangkok on Saturday, demanding Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra resignation over a leaked diplomatic phone call. A Cambodian elder statesman leaked a call meant to calm a border row between Thailand and Cambodia, in which Paetongtarn called him uncle and referred to a Thai military commander as her opponent. A key party abandoned Paetongtarn's coalition, accusing the 38-year-old dynastic premier of kowtowing to Cambodia and undermining Thailand's military. Around 4,000 demonstrators filled roads ringing the capital's Victory Monument, waving Thai flags and cheering for speeches interspersed with live music.
ที่จริงก็คือมาจากความไม่ถูกต้องสิ่งที่ไม่ถูกต้องก็คือถ้าเขาทำสิ่งถูกต้องผู้นำทำช่วยเหลือประเทศชาติทำให้ประเทศชาติได้เดินต่อเราก็อยากช่วยให้ประเทศชาติเดินต่อถ้ามันไม่ไหวแล้วก็ต้องให้หยุดอย่างอะไรที่นายกถูกต้องครับมีคลิปเสียงหลุดซึ่งปัจจัยอดีตนี่ผมพรรคเพื่อไทยพอคลิปเสียงหลุดปุ๊บผมหน้ามือเป็นหลังมือเลยผมไม่รับเลยถือว่าอันนี้คือประเทศไทยไม่ได้ประเทศเขมรเรารับไม่ได้ตรงนั้นฮะไม่ยอมรับเลยนะฉะนั้นแล้วเนี่ยเมื่อปัญหามันเกิดขึ้นมาแล้วเราคนไทยไม่ออกช่วยกันมันแก้ได้เพราะว่าผืนแผ่นดินเนี่ยบรรพบุรุษเรารักษาไม่ให้ลูกหลานเราแล้วมันเป็นเรื่องของคนตระกูลแค่2 ตระกูลนะรู้ไหม
มาทำลายดังนั้นคนไทยก็เดือดร้อนคนเขมรก็เดือดร้อนซึ่งมันไม่ถูกไม่ควรใช่ไหมครับดังนั้นแล้วเนี่ยโอ้โหทนไม่ได้เลยจะขายแผ่นดินเรานี้เราอยู่ไม่ได้แล้วเราต้องออกมาแล้วแต่จริงๆสู้กันมานานแล้วไม่ใช่เพิ่งสู้นะสู้กันตั้งแต่ปี47แล้วนะสู้ตั้งแต่สมัยที่เขาจะขายเอาไฟฟ้าฝ่ายผลิตเข้าตลาดหลักทรัพย์เลยนะสู้กันมาตั้งขนาดนั้นแล้ว
In business, Nigeria's total public debt rose to 149.39 trillion naira as of March 31st, 2025, marking a year-on-year increase of 27.72 trillion naira or 22.8% when compared to the 121.67 trillion naira recorded in the corresponding period of 2024. The latest figures from the Debt Management Office also indicates a quarter-on-quarter increase of 4.72 trillion naira or 3.3% from 144.67 trillion naira as of December 31st, 2024. Now, this marks a consistent upward trajectory in Nigeria's debt stock, reflecting both fresh borrowings and the impact of a depreciating exchange rate on external debt obligations. As Nigerian banks and fintechs prepare to move into open banking, the Central Bank of Nigeria has warned them to be wary of cybersecurity risks. Now, this was disclosed by the bank's Director of Payment System Policy, Musa Jimo. Jimo noted that while open banking allows financial service providers share their customers' account information to trusted third parties with the consent of the customer, data security is also crucial as criminals could take advantage of the system. Up next is sports.
In the world of sport, Kwara United FC have clinched their first ever major trophy, defeating Abakaliki FC 4-3 on penalties to win the President's Federation Cup after goalless regulation time in the final. The tightly contested final, played under tense conditions, ended goalless after 90 minutes, sending the match straight to penalties. Kwara United held their nerve during the shootouts to emerge victorious and lift the prestigious domestic trophy for the first time in the club's history. With the triumph, Kwara United became the 33rd different team to win the Federation Cup, one of Nigeria's oldest and most coveted football competitions. This victory also secured a ticket to represent Nigeria at the 2025-2026 CAF Confederation Cup match, adding a continental dimension to the historic achievement. Meanwhile, earlier in the day, Rivers Angels sealed a 10th Presidential Federation Cup title after beating the National Amazons via penalties in the 2025 Women's Final played today at the Mobology Johnson Arena. The fiercely contested encounter ended 2-2 in normal time before Angels secured their win with a 4-2 penalty triumph. Olushola Shobowale's first half brace put Amazons 2-0 at halftime, leaving Angels frustrated. Rivers' comeback began in the 57th minute with Taiwo Ajibade, who converted a well-placed free kick to make it 2-1. 5 minutes later, Taiwo Afolabi capitalized on the goalkeeping error to level the score 2-2. After a goalless affair in the remainder of the normal time, the game went into penalties. Rivers Angels converted all 4 of their kicks, while Nassarawa Amazons missed 2 of theirs, handing the defending champions a memorable comeback victory for a 10th title. Super Eagles icon JJ Okocha spearheaded a historic attempt to break the Guinness World Record for the most people simultaneously juggling a football in the air for 3 minutes. The vibrant event, held at the bustling Tafawa Balewa Square, saw 2,000 enthusiastic participants unite in a dazzling display of skill and coordination, showing Nigeria's passion for the beautiful game. Under Okocha's charismatic leadership, participants from diverse backgrounds, ranging from young football enthusiasts to seasoned players, gathered to make history. The event, organized to promote football culture and community spirit, required each participant to keep a football airborne for a minimum of 3 minutes, using only their feet, knees or head. Nigerian sprinter Favour Ofili clocked a new personal best of 10.87 seconds to win her 100-meter heat at the ATX Classics in Texas, defeating American Kayla White, who finished second at 11.07 seconds. Compatriot Rosemary Chukwuma was equally impressive, summing to a wind assisted 10.93 seconds to win a heat ahead of U.S. sprinter Gabby Thomas. Success Umokoro also competed in the meet, finishing third in a session with a time of 11.43 seconds. The performance highlights Nigeria's growing presence on international sprint scene ahead of the major global competitions. Finally, in the world of sport, Mali have made history at the FIBA Under-19 World Cup 2025 by beating Serbia for the first time in the country's history at any level. Mali did not wait long to make a major statement at the FIBA Under-19 Basketball World Cup as they shocked Serbia 72-7 for their first-time history over European powerhouses at any competition, men or women, junior or senior level. That's it in the world of sport. I am Onyinyechi Obaro.
Well, that's all at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of our top stories. We told you that PDP Reconciliation Committee Chairman Bukola Saraki has warned that there's likely to be more defections from the party. We also told you that suspended Governor of Rivers State, Fubara, and his erstwhile estranged godfather, Nyesom Wike, have made first public appearance together after peace deal. Finally, you heard that South African coalition member, the Democratic Alliance, has threatened to leave a government of national unity. Remember, you may send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. Do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Thank you for watching. I'm Darshan Usman.